Are you a consultant, a coach, or a service provider who wakes up every morning, checks your dashboard, and feels that sinking feeling in your gut? You're struggling to get consistent traffic. You feel like you have to spend your entire existence on social media just to get a single lead. Here is the brutal truth that most agencies won't tell you. The number one reason small businesses waste thousands of dollars on digital marketing isn't what you think. It isn't because your Facebook ad copy was weak. It isn't because you chose Instagram instead of LinkedIn. It isn't even because your product is bad. It is something way simpler. Something so fundamental that almost nobody talks about it because it's not sexy to sell. So, here's the scenario. A small business owner, let's call him David, decides it's time to get online. He hears the buzzwords: social media marketing, PPC, SEO. It sounds great. He thinks, I have a service. There are people on the internet. Let's connect the two. He dives in head first. He spends money on everything at once. He boosts posts. He hires a cheap agency to run Google ads. He starts a blog. But a month later, his bank account is lighter and his calendar is empty. Why? Because David is trying to catch fish in a pond where there are no fish. See, most small businesses make one catastrophic mistake. They start marketing before they know who they are actually marketing to. It is the equivalent of walking into a dark forest, closing your eyes, shooting arrows in random directions and hoping you hit a deer. You aren't going to hit a deer, you're just going to lose your arrows. Let me break this down for you with a story that happens every single day. Imagine Chloe. Chloe launches a life coaching business. She is talented, certified, and genuinely wants to help people. When you ask Chloe, who is your client? She smiles and says, well, I help everyone. Everyone has stress. Everyone wants to be happier. So my market is everyone between the ages of 18 and 65. On the surface, that sounds logical. Big market, big potential, right? Wrong. This is the fastest way to bankruptcy. When Chloe tries to speak to everyone, she ends up speaking to no one. She posts on Instagram hoping to catch teenagers with anxiety. She runs Facebook ads targeting retirees dealing with loneliness. She writes blog posts about corporate burnout. Her message gets so watered down that it becomes background noise. Think about the psychology of scrolling. We are exposed to thousands of ads a day. Our brains are designed to filter out anything that doesn't feel immediately relevant to our survival or our current status. If Chloe's ad says, "Do you want to feel better?" that is invisible. It's too broad. It slides right off the brain like water off a duck. But what successful businesses do, the ones you see scaling to 7 figures while you struggle to break 6, is completely different. They don't try to boil the ocean. They get laser focused on one specific person. They know exactly who keeps them up at night. They know the specific monster under the bed that their client is afraid of. Let's use a concrete analogy. This is the mental model you need to adopt today. Imagine you are a plumber. If you put up a billboard that says, "I fix pipes for anyone who owns a house," you are competing with every other plumber in the city. You are a commodity. People will only hire you if you are the cheapest option. But let's flip the script. Imagine you advertise only to people whose pipes just burst at 2 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday. Your ad doesn't say, "I fix pipes." Your ad says, "Basement flooded? Freezing water rising?" We are the only 24/7 emergency response team that gets there in under 30 minutes, or it's free. Do you think that homeowner cares about your price? No. Do you think they are comparing you to 3 other plumbers? No. You are their savior. That is your person. That is your moment. The same logic applies to every single industry. Take the local coffee shop. Most owners think, we sell coffee to people who are thirsty. No, that's how you die. You need to decide. Are you targeting the busy parent who has 3 minutes to grab a high-octane caffeine hit before dropping the kids at soccer? Or are you targeting the university student who needs a quiet corner, free Wi-Fi, and an electrical outlet to study for 4 hours? Those are 2 different businesses. The parent wants speed and drive-through efficiency. The student wants ambiance and outlets. If you try to be both, you will annoy the parent with slow service and annoy the student with a chaotic environment. You lose both. Let's look at the fitness industry. This is where I see the most money wasted. A trainer says, "I help people get fit." Okay, who? The marketing copy for a 25-year-old bodybuilder is radically different from the copy for a 45-year-old new mother. If that trainer targets the new mom, he shouldn't be talking about gains or getting shredded. He should be talking about getting your energy back so you can play with your kids without getting winded. He should talk about reclaiming your body after pregnancy. When you know your exact person, the chemistry changes. Your ads speak directly to their pain. Your content answers the specific questions they are typing into Google at midnight. Your offers solve their exact problems. This is where the cocktail party effect comes in. If you are at a loud party and someone shouts, "Hey everyone," you keep talking, you ignore them. But if someone whispers your name, "Hey," your name, your head snaps around immediately. Great marketing is whispering your customer's name in a crowded room. Most businesses skip this step because they think they've already done it. They tell me, "I know my avatar. It's women, 25, 40, earning $50K a year, living in the suburbs." That is not an avatar, that is a demographic. And frankly, that is lazy marketing. Demographics tell you who they are on a census form. Psychographics tell you why they buy. You need to go deeper. You need to pass the 3 a.m. test. You need to know what keeps your customer awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. What are they complaining about to their friends over a glass of wine? What do they secretly wish they could change about their life, but are too afraid to say out loud? What is the specific pain that makes them feel like a failure? For the business consultant, the 3 a.m. thought isn't "I need better operational efficiency." The 3 a.m. thought is, "If I don't land a client this month, I have to go back to my corporate job and admit to my dad that he was right about me." Do you feel the difference? One is data, the other is emotion. People buy on emotion and justify with logic. If you can articulate their pain better than they can, they will automatically trust you to have the solution. Here is the crazy part, the part that defies the intuition of every new entrepreneur. They think, "If I narrow my audience, I'm leaving money on the table." The reality is the exact opposite. Once you nail this down, you can spend half the money and get 10 times the results. Why? Because you stop shouting into the void. You stop paying for impressions from people who will never buy from you. When you target everyone, your cost per acquisition, CPA, is sky high because your conversion rate is abysmal. You have to pay to reach 10,000 people just to find the 5 who might be interested. When you target the 3 a.m. pain, you can target 1,000 people and convert 50 of them. You become the big fish in the small pond. The businesses that figure this out first in their market win everything. They become the obvious choice. They are the only ones speaking directly to the customer's real problems, while their competitors are still posting generic Monday motivation quotes. So before you spend another dollar on ads, before you write another blog post, before you hire that expensive agency, I want you to take this test. Can you describe your ideal customers so clearly that if they walked into a room of 100 people, you would spot them immediately? If I put you in a room with 100 strangers, could you pick out your prospect based on how they dress, how they talk, what they carry, or the look in their eye? If not, that is your real problem. And until you fix it, every marketing dollar you spend is just expensive guessing. You are paying a tax on your own lack of clarity. So stop looking for the magic ad hack. Stop looking for the viral soundbite. Go back to the drawing board. Find the person with the burst pipe. Find the student looking for the outlet. Find the new mom looking for energy. The question isn't, how do I get more traffic? The question is, how much more money are you willing to waste before you get serious about knowing exactly who you serve?